Hey everybody, it's Diana here with Coming to Me. Yo, it's been a long time, huh? A couple of weeks now. I don't know, it's just been a lot of heavy energy, in all honesty. Not to say that I haven't had a desire necessarily to record or to come on and talk to you all, because I missed y'all. But I think I just had a lot to kind of like process and integrate just with myself and life and rest and rejuvenate. I think that's really what I've been most recently called to do. Still working at the hospital, still doing that type of stuff, still not working out as much as I probably would like to, but also, I mean, hey, we do our best, but I can say that I recently went on like a friend of mine had like a layout. I did my own modified version of it, but she had a layout of a like an eating plan, and I did it like a plant-based. So it was more of like a plant-based detox type thing. And actually I feel really great. I feel like my primary reason for choosing to maybe be a little bit more plant-based is not necessarily, I mean, I love animals, absolutely. So primarily, it's compassion for animals, but also because I know that what we eat and what we put in our bodies has an effect on our vibration. And I'm kind of just really trying to, in this life, genuinely evolve to my highest version as much as I can. And I know, plant-based eating is not good for everybody. Some people, it doesn't work for, and it's, you do what works for you. But overall, I think, if you are gonna eat meat, if I am gonna eat meat again at this point, it's kind of like, I'll see how I feel. If I want a piece of chicken, maybe I'll eat a piece of chicken. If I want some shrimp or some sushi, I hope to find some food that's sustainable and raised with compassion, and just eating better quality in general. Just really being aware of the energy of things and the food that I eat. But yeah, that's basically it. I got a new tat, a butterfly, as you can see. My soul sister glitter poops, Lola, did it for me the other day. And I actually got the butterfly primarily because I just been seeing so many butterflies, like more than normal. And some people are like, I don't see any butterflies. But for me, I've been seeing so many butterflies. It's crazy. Like, synchronicities are on 100 for me when it comes to seeing the butterflies and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, these past couple of weeks, it's just been kind of that, just kind of rejuvenating and just figuring things out, and working, momming, trying to ground myself, and being consistent with my meditation, my prayer. Yeah, so that's where I've been these past couple of weeks. But I'm gonna definitely start ramping it up. And I was looking through, because on my notes I kind of had like some show ideas or some talk ideas that I wanted to kind of have. And like, I don't want everything that I talk about to always be super duper heavy, I kind of want to talk about more stuff. My daughter's like, Mommy, so on your show, do you talk about like relationships and stuff? And I mean, I definitely am not a relationship expert, but I've been through enough where I could probably give a little bit like, yo, don't do this, do this. This might work, this might not work. But just from my perspective and my experiences. But I'm still working on this book. I don't know, in case some of you don't know, this book that I've been reading called Boundaries, written by Anne Catherine, How to Recognize and Set Healthy Boundaries. So when I got this book from my spiritual teacher's book club that she has on her website, and I didn't know this book is a doozy. it's a doozy. For any of my people that have been reading it, I have a couple of my friends who have who had decided to go on this boundaries journey with me. Yo, this book is heavy. I tried to do a live, and the subject matter is very heavy. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but it has to be spoken about. Boundaries are vital to our existence, to our mental health, to our spiritual and emotional health. And I think, you know, the distortion that exists in our society is that people don't have boundaries, or there's a misconception that boundaries are, you know, make you an asshole, or make you a bitch, or make you insensitive or selfish, and it's a complete distortion. I think, and that's intentional, because, you know, those without boundaries are easily permeable, and will do anything and say anything. And it's really more of like, without boundaries, you tell somebody, oh, I have a boundary about this, and you don't adhere to your boundaries. It's just like a suggestion, you know, and I'm guilty of that. Guilty, not guilty, but I am still working on my boundaries. So yeah, this was a doozy, because a lot of the stories, a lot of the anecdotes she uses are, I guess, clients that she's had, the author, and just a lot about examples of people who have lived their lives without boundaries. And I think the stories a lot of times are super uncomfortable, primarily because, they resonate. They're like times that I've like, oh, I mean, a lot of people, like, I've never been with someone that is like a heroin addict or something, or an alcoholic knowingly, but I've dealt with people who have like porn addiction, people who are narcissists, people who are abusive, opportunists, and really the reason why those relationships even got as far as they did is because my lack of boundaries. And so it's more recently that I've realized, I ain't got no fucking boundaries. Like, what am I doing? I'm just letting people walk all over me. And it's always just, and a lot of that is just rooted in it's rooted in childhood primarily, and our own feelings of our own fears of abandonment ultimately, and being rejected and not chosen and not lovable and not worthy. And all that shit's a lie, man, because you are all of those things. I am all of those things, whether someone else tells me that or not. I am really walking and knowing that, because I'm a fractal of the Creator, and the Creator is all those things, and therefore I am automatically, and it makes me happy. I'm getting goosebumps because it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, one thing that was huge for me in my relationships, not only like intimate relationships, but like just friendships and stuff, was enmeshment. And it's a what's the word? It's like a byproduct of our childhoods. It's a byproduct of codependency and abuse and all these other things. And enmeshment is super important, because when we're enmeshed, we are not adhering and maintaining and abiding by our boundaries. So in this video, I wanted to primarily talk to us. Let's talk. I got my little note cards here. Woo-woo. About like signs that you have been in enmeshed relationships. How about that? And I've got 6 of them. And so what I'm gonna do in this video, please click like, share, subscribe. I know I'm 9 minutes in, but like the video, subscribe, share. Let's talk about boundaries. Let's talk about all the shit that goes with boundaries, the lack thereof, and let's free ourselves. So right? 6 signs. This is the real title of the video. 6 signs that you have been in some sorts of enmeshed relationships. So first one, you neglect other relationships because of a preoccupation or compulsion to be in said relationship or another relationship, right? So this is where, for example, I've been super guilty, using the word loosely. I mean, we learn, so there's no such thing. You know, we go through experiences, we learn, and we change, we grow, or else we repeat cycles over and over until we get it. Sometimes our lives and we transition before we get it, and sometimes we don't, you know, but hey. So yeah, so neglect of relationships because of a preoccupation or compulsion to be in this relationship. I have done this probably with almost every single boyfriend that I have had. Boyfriend relationship period, where I neglected my friendships with people that I know love me and really value me and only want my highest good. Other women, other male friends, whoever they may be. And I was just so engulfed with the relationship with said person I was dating. Primarily because like I just thought that, you know, I need to pay full attention to this person, and I gotta be focused on them, you know. And I genuinely, I think I lost a lot of good friends, or I didn't nurture a lot of good friendships, relationships, my family, because of having this desire, this preoccupation to be so enmeshed with this person that I was dating, whoever it might have been, whenever it was. I'm learning though, right? Secondly, that your happiness, contentment relies on your relationship. Definitely, I did it. My happiness, looking for other people to make you happy, thinking that this relationship was going to make me happy, thinking that relationships are what make women happy, men happy, complete, whole. That's bullshit. You know, yeah, definitely not content. You have to be content, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, like, relationships don't make people happy. If people ain't happy before they get in a relationship, it will only amplify their unhappiness, right? Thirdly, your self-esteem is contingent upon this relationship. Well, definitely, you know, feeling worthy, feeling lovable, feeling valued by being in a relationship, and not being that. And that primarily is because I think in my childhood, a lot of the women that I was around or saw, older women, and this is all perception, because in all honesty, kids have completely distorted perceptions of reality, period. So my own so-called perception of reality was that, oh, women were happy when they had a boyfriend or a husband or a man, and it made them worthy. Oh, you know, that whole thing of getting married, the little princess complex that Disney tries to push. Getting married makes you worthy, makes you lovable, makes you happy, because when a woman was proposed to, she was worthy, she was chosen, she's valuable. You know, and that concept of exterior validation, is that the right term? I think. But being validated externally, not exteriorly, externally being validated is complete distortion. 4. When conflict arises, you feel extreme anxiety, fear, or compulsion to fix the problem. Huge for me. Huge. I was obsessed with trying to keep the peace and being harmonious. Like, it gave me legit anxiety when I knew that we had an argument. Oh, we have to fix it now. We have to fix it. We have to fix it immediately. Pepper. We have to fix it. We have to fix it. Because ultimately that fear, that anxiety was rooted in loss, rooted in lack, rooted in thinking that I would be abandoned by this person. Because this little argument about the dishes, or not going out with your friends, or my staying out beyond a time that I told you I would come back, whatever the freaking argument was about, it was rooted in a fear of being abandoned and no longer chosen. And that also has, that not being chosen and that fear of abandonment is rooted in a lack of self-worth and value, right? You see how all of this is like intertwined and interconnected? It's craziness, right? Let's see. 5. When you're not around this person or can't talk to them, a feeling of loneliness pervades your psyche. And without that connection, the loneliness will increase to the point of creating irrational desires to reconnect all the time. It's even in the whole dynamic of just knowing your worth and value as a woman and dating and being in your feminine energy, because society has this like distortion that exists, that if we're not connected and we're not speaking to someone on a daily basis and a constant basis, or we're not around or seeing this person every single day, that there's disconnection. But ultimately, the truth is that if you really are delving in what true emotional intimacy is and really forming an intimate bond, right, an emotionally intimate bond, then, you know, you don't have to worry about it, because what exists, physical bonds versus emotional bonds, emotional bonds outlive physical bonds. We know that, right? Sometimes you can be away from someone for how long, but you haven't seen them, but you've bonded with this person. Pepper is completely distracting me. I apologize. But you don't have this emotion. You have this emotional bond. Pepper, go sit down. You have this emotional bond that will stand the test of time, right? 6, there's a symbiotic emotional connection. If the person is angry, anxious, or depressed, you're also angry, anxious, etc. And it's as though you absorb those feelings and are drawn to remediate them. Definitely. I've experienced that as well. This person is pissed off about something. Oh, I'm going to be pissed off. Thinking that that's supportive of the person, or allowing that person's energy to dominate and to kind of overpower your home frequency. And yeah, you thinking you're doing the right thing, but it's completely enmeshed. Completely like lack of boundaries. So I don't know if I explained it before, but enmeshment ultimately is, the truth of the matter is that when we come into relationship, we are two wholes. We're two whole people, two whole individuals that have their own vibration, their own frequency, right? And so when we come into this dynamic together at this place, we remain whole. And so now we are a whole relationship, two wholes making a whole relationship that there in and of itself has its own vibration, right? Has its own frequency. And so what happens is, a lot of times with the distortion that exists with codependency and all this other stuff, those boundaries of wholeness are blurred, and then we become enmeshed, right? And so the next question is like, how does this happen? What happens in our lives that causes this enmeshment?